Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to leave a comment down below with what your baseball picks are for Wednesday. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at pickdawgz.com in the Premium Picks tab. I'm running a daily $15 MLB best bet, so you can check that out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Wednesday, May 4th. First up, we're going to take a look at the contest between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Miami Marlins, with Madison Bumgarner and Elieser Hernandez on the mound for this contest. Now, Madison Bumgarner is off to a strong start this season, 1.17 ERA, a 1.13 WHIP. Now, I'd like to see the strikeout numbers rise a bit. He only has 15 Ks in 23 innings, but what's been more promising to me seeing from him is he's limited the walks lately. You know, he had a big issue with the walks at the beginning of the season. He gave up 4 walks in 5 innings against the Nationals back on the 19th. But against the Mets and Cardinals, his last 2 outings, he's pitched 10 innings combined, and he's only allowed 1 walk, and he had 6 strikeouts in those starts. So definitely seeing some improvements there, and he's pitching really well overall this season, and facing a Marlins lineup that has not done good against lefties this season. You know, they're top 10 in baseball right now against right-handed pitching in team OPS, but against lefties, completely different story. They're ranked 24th in baseball right now with a 603 team OPS against lefties. On the other side, Elieser Hernandez has had a big issue with allowing too many home runs. He actually leads the league in most home runs allowed with 6 in the National League. And the Diamondbacks have actually seen a little uptick in their power numbers lately. We see guys like Nick Ahmed and Jordan Luplow hitting some homers lately. So Diamondbacks lineup has actually been a little bit more promising to see in recent games. So I do think they're going to be able to get to Hernandez early here. And I think we're getting a good price with the Diamondbacks on the road as the dog. So I'm going to take the Diamondbacks here on the money line. Next up, we see the Atlanta Braves taking on the New York Mets with Ian Anderson and Tylor Megill as your starters. Now, to me, this is a game where we see 2 pitchers in completely different directions right now. Tylor Megill off to an incredible start this season. 1.93 ERA, 27 strikeouts in 28 innings, a .86 WHIP, and he actually pitched in that combined no-hitter that the Mets had last week against the Phillies. It was a 3-0 win for the Mets. He had 5 Ks and 5 innings of work. On the other side, Ian Anderson struggled, 4.66 ERA. I mentioned before the season started, he's a guy that I worried about this year because he gets behind the count in so many at-bats, and we've already seen him struggle with the walks this season and recently the home run ball. He's given up at least 1 homer in each of his last 3 starts. The Mets are really good against right-handed pitching this season, so I think the Mets win this game at home, and the price is not too bad either, so give me the Mets on the money line. Next up, we see a doubleheader between the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, you guys have heard me say it plenty of times before. I'm not crazy about doubleheaders betting-wise, just because there's a lot of information that can change last minute. Now, in this one, we're going to have to, keep up to date with the pitching status, because right now we see a couple of names that could go for the Pirates in both games, but we should see Michael Pineda go for the Tigers in Game 1, and I'm going to fade him in this spot. Pineda, in his later years in his career, he doesn't put a lot of guys on base via the walk, but too much high-velocity contact allowed from him. 3 home runs allowed in his last start against the Twins. I do think the Pirates get to him here. I think the value's on Pittsburgh in Game 1. But on the other side, I do like the Tigers in Game 2, as we can expect Jose Quintana to start in Game 2 for the Pirates. Tigers have done a pretty good job against left-handed pitching this season, and Quintana is somebody that I am worried about going forward. I know he has a 3.32 ERA this season, but I don't think that's going to last for much longer. He did have a sharp outing last time out, but to me, his strikeout numbers are still not where they need to be. The walks are a little bit of an issue, and the home runs concern me also. So give me the Tigers in Game 2. So I'm going to take the Pirates Game 1, Tigers Game 2. Next up, we have another lovely doubleheader between the San Diego Padres and the Cleveland Guardians. Now, in Game 1, we should see the starters that were supposed to go on Tuesday, Zach Plesac and Mike Clevenger. And for that reason, I'm going to take the same play I did on Tuesday's video, which was the Guardians money line, getting the plus money there. Cleveland, number 1 in team OPS against right-handed pitching this season. Now, I'm not a big fan of Zach Plesac right now, but I do think his bats can back him up. I have to see Mike Clevenger make a few return starts to the majors before I back him, especially on the road laying a money line price. So I'm going to take the Guardians in Game 1, but in Game 2, I do think the Padres have the advantage in the starting pitching matchup. Mackenzie Gore going up against Cal Quantrill. Quantrill, for me, not enough strikeouts, too many walks, and I think the Padres will take advantage of that in this one. And on the other side, Mackenzie Gore, a left-handed pitcher. Like I mentioned, Guardians very good against righties, not so much against lefties. I think Gore pitches well. He's looked really sharp in his first few starts in his career already with the Padres, 1.76 ERA. So give me the Padres in Game 2. So Guardians Game 1, Padres Game 2. In our next game, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Oakland Athletics with Frankie Montas and Corey Kluber as your starters. Now, I do lean towards the Rays on the money line in this spot, as the A's offense has really gone cold as of late. They're 28th in baseball right now in team OPS against right-handed pitching. I know Corey Kluber has been inconsistent this year, but I still think he's going to have a strong outing against the A's lineup that just hasn't gotten done lately. But I do like the under in this game also, as Frankie Montas, I said before, I think he's the best option the A's have in that rotation. 31 strikeouts and about 30 innings of work. His home runs and walks allowed in recent outings does concern me a bit, and that's why I would lean towards Tampa Bay on the side. But I still think he has a strong outing against the Tampa Bay offense that's also been rather inconsistent as of late. So give me the under in the Rays-Oakland A's game. In our next game, we see the Seattle Mariners taking on the Houston Astros with Matt Brash and Justin Verlander as your starters. Now, I do think we have a clear pitching mismatch in this one. Justin Verlander, a 1.73 ERA this year, 28 strikeouts in 26 innings. He's off to a great start, which we could expect from him this season. But on the other side, Matt Brash, although he started the season strong, he's really struggled as of late. He has 8.47 Ks per nine, which is not too bad, but 6.88 walks per nine. He's allowing way too many free passes. The home runs per nine at 1.59 is a little high as well. And that's the reason why he has a 6.75 expected ERA this season. I just can't back him in this spot, especially going up against Verlander. So give me the Astros in this one on the money line. Next up, we see the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Kansas City Royals with Adam Wainwright and Kris Bubic on the mound for this contest. Now, I'm not in love with this one because I do think both starters have struggled as of late. Adam Wainwright started the season strong, but his last two starts, he faced some pretty weak teams in the Reds and Diamondbacks. He allowed 7 earned runs in 11 innings of work with 8 walks allowed as well. So, that does concern me quite a bit. But on the other side, Kris Bubic has struggled all season long at 10.5 ERA. He didn't do too poorly against the Yankees last time out, but he still gave up 2 home runs in that first inning in a 12-2 Royals loss. And, I do think with the Cardinals being so good against left-handed pitching this season, top 5 in baseball right now in team OPS against lefties, I think Bubic is more in trouble in this spot. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here on the lean on the money line. Next up, we see the Texas Rangers taking on the Philadelphia Phillies with Martin Perez and Zach Wheeler going at it here. Now, Perez, he has definitely surprised me this season. Going into the year, I wasn't expecting much from him, but to have a 3.00 ERA and a 1.00 whip at this point in the year through 21 innings of baseball, I got to tip my cap to him, but I'm not sure how long that's going to be able to hold. Strikeout numbers are down for him as we expected. He's not really a strikeout guy, more of a pitch-to-contact guy. He hasn't given up a single home run yet this season, which kind of waiting for one to go over the fence as he has had issues with the long ball in recent years. I do think against the Philadelphia Phillies lineup that's top 10 in baseball in team OPS against lefties, this could be a rough start for Perez, especially on the road. And I don't love the options in the bullpen for the Rangers either. Zach Wheeler, we've seen the worst from him this season, but I do think we're going to see a lot better from him in the future. Last time out, 6 innings of shutout baseball with 7 strikeouts against a good Rockies lineup. So I do think we're going to see him improve as the season carries on. I do like the Phillies here on the run line, laying the 1.5. Next up, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the Baltimore Orioles with Dylan Bundy and Kyle Bradish on the mound for this contest. And I do think there is some value with the dog here with the Orioles at home. And I know Kyle Bradish is a young pitcher. He only has 6 innings of big league experience. He only gave up 2 earned runs in that first start of his career against the Red Sox. It was in a loss to Boston, a 3-1 loss for the Orioles. But in his minor league career, Bradish was really strong. He had a 1.2 ERA in his first 15 innings in the AAA this year in 2022 with a 10.2 strikeouts per nine. And he's been able to miss bats throughout his career. In the minor leagues, he has had double-digit Ks per nine wherever he's gone. Now, I know the strikeouts weren't there in his major league debut, but I'm not worried about that in this start and going forward. On the other side, Dylan Bundy did not impress me whatsoever last start. He gave up 6 earned runs and 2 home runs against the Rays last time out in a 6-1 Minnesota loss. And I am worried about him against his former team here on the road. I think the Orioles bats can get to him in this spot. So I do think the Orioles are a decent play here, getting the plus money on the money line. So that's where I'm going to take a chance on. In our next game, we see the New York Yankees taking on the Toronto Blue Jays with Nestor Cortes and Yusei Kikuchi as your projected starters. Now, we did see Nestor Cortes' weakest start of the season last time out against the Royals. which was a surprise to me as the Royals really struggle against left-handed pitching. They really just struggle in general offensively this season. So for Cortez to give up 8 base hits in that one, a little bit of a surprise, especially he only had 3 strikeouts as well. And I do think the Blue Jays are going to be able to get to him a little bit in this start. And the Blue Jays offense has been a little bit underwhelming this year because the expectations that they had were so big. You expected them to score 7-8 runs a game. It hasn't been the case thus far, but the Blue Jays are still top 15 in baseball in team OPS against lefties, and I do think they have a good game offensively here. But on the other side, Yusei Kikuchi can't back him in this spot. He's given up a home run in 3 of his 4 starts this year, and then one of those starts was against this Yankees lineup. The Yankees, as we know, are hitting really well as of late, and I think they're going to be able to get to Kikuchi also here. Yankees top 5 in baseball in team OPS against left-handed pitching. I know the Yankees and Blue Jays bullpens are really strong, but I do think the majority of the runs are scored early in this game. I think it's enough to get us over the total. So I lean for first 5 over, but I do like the full game over as well. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Boston Red Sox. Now, for this game, we don't have an official starter announced for the Angels quite yet. It's been rumored that Shohei Ohtani may make his return from injury in this start. If he does, I think the Angels have a great shot at winning this ball game. But even if they decide to go with a bullpen game, I think the Angels' bullpen is better than the Red Sox right now. Now, Garrett Whitlock has pitched really well for the Red Sox this season, .54 ERA, 20 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings. But he's not going to go too deep in this game. He's more of an opener, 3 to 4 innings at most. So when the Red Sox pen comes into this game, I do worry about it quite a bit, especially against a strong Angels lineup. I think the Angels have the edge in bullpen and lineup-wise, and the Red Sox have just not performed as of late on the road or at home. So give me the Angels on the money line in a slight lean. Next up, we see the Chicago White Sox taking on the Chicago Cubs with Lucas Giolito and Kyle Hendricks as your starters. Now, I'm not crazy about this game, but I do think I'm going to take a shot with the Cubs here on the money line as the dog. Now, Kyle Hendricks has struggled overall this season, 5.47 ERA, but you got to look at his road and home splits to really see the full story with them. On the road, he has been miserable this season. He's pitched against the Pirates and the Brewers for a combined 8 innings of work. He's allowed 12 earned runs and 4 home runs in those starts, but at home, he's not allowed a single home run. He's only allowed 3 earned runs in 16 2/3 innings with 15 strikeouts. So he has been much sharper at Wrigley Field, which is what we're used to seeing from Hendricks. The last few seasons, he wasn't nearly as dominant at Wrigley, but he's been known to be a Wrigley Field pitcher, and he's been like that this year with a 1.62 ERA at home. While Lucas Giolito on the other side, coming off a rough outing where he gave up 2 home runs and 3 earned runs, 7 base hits against the Angels. In all 3 of his starts this season, the White Sox have lost outright, and the White Sox have a pretty bad record on the road, well below 500 this season. So I'm going to take a shot with the Cubs here as the home dog. Next up, we see the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Milwaukee Brewers with Vladimir Gutierrez and Freddie Peralta as your projected starters. Now, Freddie Peralta has looked like a completely different pitcher in his last 2 outings. He really struggled at the start of 2022, but he's only given up 1 earned run in his last 11 innings of work, and those were 2 road starts against the Phillies and Pirates. He's had 13 strikeouts in those 11 innings, and I think he's going to have another strong outing in this one against a really weak Reds lineup this season. Vladimir Gutierrez 0-4 with a 7.41 ERA, only 11 Ks in 17 innings of work with 15 walks allowed, so 4 more walks than strikeouts earned. That scares me quite a bit. He's allowed at least 1 home run in his last 2 starts, and I think he's in trouble in this one. So I'm going to lay the run line with the Brewers at home. Next up, we see the Washington Nationals taking on the Colorado Rockies with Patrick Corbin and Austin Gomber as your starters. And I think Patrick Corbin is in trouble yet again in this spot. The strikeouts haven't been an issue for him. 23 Ks in 19 2/3 innings, but he's got a 2.08 whip this year, allowing far too many base hits and base runners, walks as well. And he has an 0-4 record with an 8.69 ERA. And it doesn't get any easier here when he's at Coors Field, facing a Rockies lineup that's ranked number 1 in baseball in team OPS against left-handed pitching. I think the Rockies get to him here, but Austin Gomber, although we've seen mixed results from him this season, he's pitched a lot better at Coors Field in his career than he has on the road. I know in his lone start at Coors Field this season he didn't fare too well, but I do think against a pretty weak Nationals lineup, he has a quality outing here. I know the Rockies bullpen's not great, but neither is the Nationals. I do think the Rockies are the play in my opinion, so give me the Rockies on the money line in this spot. In our final game of the night, we see the Los Angeles Dodgers hosting the San Francisco Giants Now in this one, we're going to see the Giants send left-hander Alex Wood to the mound. And I've mentioned on the show before that the Dodgers do fare a lot better against righties than lefties this season offensively, but I'm not sure Alex Wood is the type of lefty that I would want to back in this spot. You know, he has struggled overall this season and in his most recent outing. He's given up at least 1 home run in 3 of his first 4 starts of 2022. And his last start, he's gave up 8 base hits and 5 earned runs with that home run against the Nationals. I think the Dodgers are a far better lineup than the Nationals right now. And I do think that Wood is in trouble in this spot. I think the Dodgers get to him early. I think they win this ball game at home. So give me the Dodgers on the money line to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday, May 4th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your picks down in the comments section below. If you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.